Hello, my name is Uloma Solikago. I've had lots of testimonies coming to sorting out. I think I'd like to say the first time I came to sorting out, that was in 2010. I'd had issues at work where I had to stay at home for 4.5 months. I was still being paid salary, my driver was still being paid salary. And then the next thing, within that same period, I lost my dad. So a friend of mine came to me and said she didn't think this was normal, that she wanted to go to sorting out. And I was like, what is that? So she explained to me what it was about. I told her okay. At the time, I wanted to go to sorting out because I had a phobia. I had a phobia and I had a fear for going to my village. I'm from the east. My siblings had even concluded and they said to me, you know what, don't come for the funeral. We will go and handle the funeral and we'll just give you feedback. So I said no, that I cannot. I was very close to my dad. I can't be, my dad can't die. I'll be in Lagos, prepare for the funeral and then not have to go to the funeral. So I actually came to sorting out just to pray, to be able to go to the village and come back safely. That was my main thing of going to sorting out, really. At the time, I wasn't married. So I came to sorting out. In 2010, we had it in Ikeja. I gave my heart to sorting out. We did all of the prayers. Went back home. Then testimonies started rolling in. The first, we went to my village. All the resources that we need for the burial, we got. My siblings came in. We all had journey messages. We did the funeral, and everybody went. Now the next testimony that came through, the same office where I had an issue, and they were saying, okay, what do we do? What do we not do? They called me back to say, you know what, choose what you want to do. Choose what region you want to go and head. And so I had to choose, I had to make a choice. At the time, I lived on the island, so I chose an island branch. I had to build the branch from the scratch. But I didn't feel happy having to do that because I felt the bank hadn't been fair to me. Whilst I was at home for 4.5 months, I prayed and I prayed hard to God. And I said to myself, by the time I'm done building this branch, I want to resume in another bank and not the bank where I was working, because I felt I had been unjustly treated. And as God would have it, I got another job in a much bigger bank. I earned double the salary I was earning previously. And I resumed in February. They opened the branch I was building in April, which was the prayer I was praying to God about. That's on the work front. Then getting this new job, I wasn't married at the time. Now I had a dream. For every time I took a suitor home, once I come back to Lagos, I changed my mind. Every time, and it happened so often, I felt it was just me being, oh, I don't like this, I don't want that. But after sorting out, I had a dream. Now in that dream, I was at home. I was looking down, I was at home in the village. I was looking down from the balcony. I saw 3 men who I assumed were my uncles. They ran behind and then they were digging. This was in a dream. So I was wondering, what are they digging? So I was fascinated. So I kept looking at them. They kept digging and digging. And then the next thing, they dug out a casket. I said to myself, oh, what's in this casket? And they opened up the casket. And lo and behold, it was me in the casket. What it meant to me was restoration of my marriage that had been withheld for a very long time, you know. So now, after I met then my suitor, now my husband, after I met him, the normal tradition in my village or in my family is that we go introduce them to the village, to uncles in the village, and then we come back, we go back for the rites, and then we do traditional wedding, we do the registry, and then we do the white wedding. I had still the same strong feeling that says you must wed this person before you go to the village. So I called him, I said, this is what my spirit is telling me. Can we do the registry before we go to the village? He said, oh, how about my family? I said, okay, he should not worry. I didn't want the family to know about it. Just going to be between him. I'll get a few of my friends to be witnesses. I agreed. I got the witnesses, 3 of my friends. He got his cousins. So we went to Ikoyi registry. We did the wedding. My own immediate family didn't know about this wedding. So now I was ready to go to the village. We got to the village. I went to Uncle One, meet Kingston, he's my suitor, asked him my hand in marriage. I did the second uncle. When I got to the third uncle, that's the best part. I said to him, oh, meet Kingston. He's asking my hand in marriage. He's a suitor. And he said to me, is he asking your hand in marriage or he's married you already? And I was surprised because nobody knew I was married. Well, they simply just said to me, oh, it must have been him, the monitoring spirit. Whenever I brought a suitor home, when I get back to Lagos, I changed my mind about the suitor without a reason. And this went on. Like I came to sort it out, and then I got the revelation I needed. So it was only him. He probably knew in the spirit I had gotten married. My family in the physical did not know I had gotten married. So that totally blew me away. My husband was, when I met him, he was a widower. And he had 3 children. I married him, and I said to myself, within 2 months of the marriage, I was pregnant. So I didn't have to wait for the fruit of the womb. That again was a testimony, because I got married at age 40. That was also a testimony, you know. Now, I got married to him, and then I woke up after the day of the marriage. I had 3 children already, which means for me it was a restoration. All the delays I'd had in the past, if I'd married at 25 or 26, I would have had these 3 children already at those ages. And within the same year I got married, I had my own child. Nothing can be better than that. My testimony was multiple fold. In the work front, when I changed job, in 2010 I had come to sorting out. I learned about first fruit. I didn't know about first fruit before. I knew about tithing. I knew about offering. So they explained first fruit. So when I moved to the new job in 2011, I moved in the middle of the month. So when I resumed, they had gone past the salary dates. I had to wait the following month, which was now March. Then they paid me a whole sum of money, a whole lot of money as my salary for February and March. Then it came to my mind again, it said first fruit. And then my friends were like, oh, let's go out, let's go party, oh, this job is wonderful and all of that. Some said to me, no, go pay your first fruit. And I thank God for the grace, I was obedient, I paid this first fruit. And honestly, it was a lot of money, but I thank God for the grace to be able to pay it. Within 1 year, 2 years, my second year of working in this new bank, started having challenges. At a point, I started wondering, okay, so what have I done? What have I done wrong? What is wrong? I just didn't know what else to do. And I had gone to sorting out only in 2010. I didn't know I could go back as often as I wanted. So I made inquiries, and then I came back to sorting out in 2013. At this time, I was due for confirmation in the new job. But for every time I reach the criteria, my immediate boss and my overall boss, they shift the goalposts. So I knew this was no longer a physical thing, it was now spiritual. What I now did, I came sorting out. I took the stub of the first fruit draft that I brought. I brought it to sort. I took it sorting out, and I knelt down and I prayed. I said, God, I prayed I needed a change of job, and you gave me this job. I paid my tithe. I gave first fruit on this job. So, Father Lord, I will not be disgraced. I will not be embarrassed. I will not be put to shame in any way. Take the glory here regarding this particular situation, this confirmation. All the glory will go back to you. And I went back to work. Within 1 week, this was the fastest of all of it. Within 1 week of the sorting out, I just called my HR. I needed some information from them. And someone says to me, oh, congratulations, you've been confirmed. I said, excuse me. She said, oh yes, that they've confirmed me. I said, okay, so what criteria did you use to confirm me? She said, oh no, that they had to go back to the policy of the bank. And they found that I had made the criteria a long time ago. So they just went against my direct reports, and they used the policy of the bank, and I got a confirmation. Now the testimony here is that the people that were slowing down or delaying my confirmation, I was the one who went to tell them I had been confirmed. And they were asking, oh, how did that happen? I asked my mom in 2013. Again, I needed to go to the village. The phobia for the village. I came back and I prayed again. And we went for the burial in February. I was away for about 2 weeks. When I came back to work, My normal norm when I go away on vacation, when I come back, I empty my mailbox. But this time, I took time, I went through the mails one by one, and then I saw a mail that had been sent whilst I was away. It said cross-border posting. I'm like, oh, okay, what's this about? Interesting. It was an internal vacancy advert. So I read through. Apparently, they wanted an executive director for one of the bank had expanded for one of our countries, for Gambia and Sierra Leone. So I said, oh, okay, I was going to interview. But before that time, I'd had a dream that I was choosing, and I was in a dream, and I was choosing an office when a new office building. So I was choosing an office. I opened this door. I said, oh, this office is so small. I opened the next door. I said, somebody comes and pulls me out. Oh, leave these offices. Come, I will show you where you should go to. A person takes me out, and I found myself on the shore, on the beach. I said, okay, what am I doing on the beach? And then I woke up. Anyway, so back to the vacancies. I saw vacancy for Gambia and for Sierra Leone. At the time, the day I found that email was the closing date for that application. I still went ahead, I sent in my application to my head office. Now, after about 3 days, I didn't get a feed, I didn't hear from them. I went to head office. I said to them, oh, I had applied for this and I hadn't heard from them. Oh, sorry that you're late. We had closed. I said, okay, can you just put in my CV? Let me even go and interview. They said to me, no. So I left them. I went and met some other lady. I said, I'm still interested in these openings. That can you find out if they have really closed the openings? So she called the lady in charge, and she said yes, that they had done the interview and the assessment that particular date. So she asked her, oh, did you find somebody for the countries? And she said no, they didn't find anybody. So they were asked to go back to the bank's database and go and get all the people who qualify to come forward and do the interview and be reassessed for those countries. The interesting part about this is my core competence is investment banking, private banking. Now the commercial corporate banking, I can say I have a general knowledge about that. We're going to open a commercial bank in those countries. They probably will go to the commercial departments. But I still said, okay, let me just send in my CV. I sent in my CV. Cutting the long story short, I went for the interview and I came out tops in those interviews. And I got the job. I got the job to go to the country as an executive director of the bank in that country. On getting to that country, within 6 months of being in that country, the sitting MD resigned. I became an acting MD of the bank in that country. Between 6 months again of acting, I became a confirmed MD in that country. So I've been in that country for a very long time. My life has really been one testimony after another testimony. That's why I say to myself, I will open each year with a sorting out program, and I'll close each year with a sorting out program. It's really one interesting spiritual exercise that everybody should get into. That's what I have to say. Once again, my name is Ulomas Kings Olikago. I work in a bank. I head one of the bank's branches in one of the West African countries, and indeed I have been sorted.